You look so tired. You okay? Hi. It's your friendly neighborhood leftist, Sophie, here for another episode of Bless You, Call a Liberal. I am trying very hard to maintain optimism, hope, joy in the fact that despite everything that's going on in the world, particularly in America, that there's a lot of people recognizing the course we're on, who seem to be fighting against the trajectory, who seem to be recognizing the pattern that's occurring. So it's nice to see that we're not blindly walking into Armageddon or the apocalypse. And I'm not even like being hyperbolic. Like, god damn, I'm an atheist, and yet I can see the parallels of anti-Christendom that are happening. Jesus Christ. Like the fact that this man is talking about going into the Holy Land and raising it, and yeah, it's just, yes, it's horrible. So it led me to think of this fun clip that I saw. I'll play this for you. It's cute.
Have you noticed that our caps have actually got little pictures of skulls on them?
I don't.
Hans, are we the baddies?
Yeah, I think we're the baddies, you guys. I think we're the baddies. Like, what else is the conclusion that we can come to here? I honestly would love to know if you're patriotic, why? If you have nationalism, why? Even if you're a Democrat, like there's of course so many people who are Republican and voted for Trump, and they're very happy with their decision. Are you still happy with it? I'd love to know. But even so, there's still, good night. There's still tons and tons of Democrats and Black people and Hispanic people who are very, very proud to be American. Why? Why? What are the redeeming qualities of America, especially right now? I mean, have there ever been? Have there ever been? I genuinely don't know. So I'd love to know your thoughts. Honestly, this is your time. This is your space. This show is intended to be a safe place um for everybody who wants to just share their opinion and hopefully find some bridges between where we have differences of opinion. Oh, I did. I absolutely left America. It's the best thing I've ever done. I escaped 2 years ago, and thank God I did. Again, atheist, and I'm very blessed, very blessed, very happy to have left. So again, but I do care about Americans. I have family in America. I love the people of my country. So I mean, as a woman of, albeit late, but still childbearing age, you think escape is the improper terminology to use? I'd love to understand why you feel like people who are unable to leave America are not trapped, especially if you're a woman who, again, is of childbearing age. It's just, it's a scary place. It's a scary place to be. I left primarily after Trump was in office the first time. So these cuts aren't good things. What do you find good about them? And how do you feel me taking my own destiny into my own hands as a victim mentality? I'd love to know that. Um, I feel like that's one of the things I've hoped to achieve with this uh, show, I guess, is that we come to a consensus on definitions of things. The reason I even titled my talk today, or my show today, 53 Days, is because we witnessed this already. We already saw what happened when a certain gentleman with a very distinctive mustache got into office in what was at the time a constitutional republic and effectively dismantled democracy in 53 days. So we're only 15 days into this administration, and the parallels are paralleling, Again, dad, good dad, let me know how I'm wrong. Let me know how I am portraying myself as a victim in any way. And also, like, What do you think I'm being victimized by? What do you think I would feel like I'm a victim of if that's how you perceive my behavior? You've been on for 10 seconds. I can't even imagine that you've heard me say anything. So is it just that you're seeing me as a black woman and assuming that I am playing some kind of victim card? That's just weird. So, yeah, break it down. How am I a victim? How is recognizing the course and the pattern and the trajectory that we're on as a country? How is that playing victimhood? No more miracles. Loaves and Fish has been so busy with the washing of the dishes. I'm gonna guess that's a song reference. All right, I think we've got our first caller. Okay, well, let's see. They hung up, but that's okay. You can always try back, and I will answer when you call. Unlike God. I'm sorry, I just had to throw that out there. But yeah, honestly, you guys, like, again, my question to you all is, if you're proud to be an American, where you can't believe you're free, where we've obviously forgotten the men who died who gave this life to us. Um, all right, let's try this one more time. Hi, friend. This is Sophie. What's your name?
Hi. Well, I just wanted to call anonymously. I saw your live come up on my For You page. We don't have the same views, but I just wanted to say I think it's really awesome that you're like kind of holding a space to share and like discuss because
Oh,
I think that's amazing and so essential. I saw people were leaving you like not super nice comments. And I just wanted to say that and tell you that. So I hope you have a great day.
oh,
I think having diversity in politics and having people, kind of have different viewpoints, I think that's really essential. I
yeah.
know things are really polarizing right now, but I just wanted to say you're awesome.
Thank you so much. I genuinely appreciate that. Honestly, if you don't mind, give me a follow. Stay in touch. If you have any questions or thoughts or comments, you're absolutely welcome to call back at any time.
Yeah, sure. Bye.
Thank you so much. Bye, honey. Oh, that was so sweet. And you couldn't even hear it. I'm sorry. That was just someone expressing their gratitude for this space, despite not sharing beliefs with me. And thank you for your call, sweetheart. That's exactly what this is about. Like, we don't have to agree, but we actually just need to recognize that we all have more in common than you do with Donald Trump or Elon Musk. So let's just find those commonalities, build those bridges, make sure that we are understanding that we're in this together. And so today, again, we're talking a little bit about, thank you. Oh my gosh, that's very kind. Just to read this list of comments, which are really funny. Peter Gabriel, Lucas, thank you for clarifying. I'm not familiar with that tune. Um, let's see. Chad Bay said, "You're beautiful." Thank you, Chad. Trump loves you. That is in a strange conflation with what people typically say, Jesus loves you. So are you conflating Trump and Jesus? I have to know. Then Chad says, I like your eyewear. Thank you so much. These were $13. $13 prescription, heavy prescription lenses. I get them from Zenni Optical. I am like a walking billboard for that company. I love them. They're based out of China, but you can get your prescription glasses for so cheap. Which is amazing because there's Luxottica, I think it is. There's a brand in America that has like a chokehold on the frames market. And so yeah, I absolutely feel like Zenni Optical is the place to go. They're not paying me, but I just love them very much. So thank you, Chad. That was really sweet. And then right after that, I got a comment that just says dweeb. I'll take it. I am a nerd. I'm a geek. I'm a dweeb. I am all of the above. Thank you. Chad loves America. He's super proud. again, let me know why. Like, what are the redeeming qualities that you find in America? Now, me personally, I'm not patriotic. I am definitely not nationalist or nationalistic, but I love America, the people of America, even the ones who voted for Trump, even the ones who hate my guts. I love you. I absolutely do. I feel like innately, especially like since I had kids, and just seeing how much goes into building a person. Like, we are all so special and we're all so beautiful. Like, it's just amazing to me that we have uh parents who poured into us, guardians who poured into us, all the things they know. It's unfortunate that some of those people pour in negative things or hatred or bigotry or xenophobia or transphobia. They pour all these things into these poor little babies who turn out to be the same folks, some of them anyway, who comment such horrible things. It's absolutely sad. Because again, I can still see that little baby in you. I can still see that little child in you who if we were on the playground together, I'm sure we would absolutely be going down the slides hand in hand. So that's who I'm looking for in you. That's who I want to see in you. And that's why one of my topics is about racism and goodness, and I'll play my little clip again because I love it. I don't know if you're just coming in, if you didn't see it. But here's my little baddie clip for you.
Have you noticed that our caps have actually got little pictures of skulls on them?
I don't.
Hans, are we the baddies?
So it's a little comical, questioning, are you the bad guys? But, so we have to take a hard look at ourselves as Americans and try to understand, are we the bad guys right now? Like, even the people who didn't vote for Donald Trump or didn't want this particular regime in place doing the things that they're doing, we're still going to have to reckon with the fact that if you look at the things that Donald Trump is doing right now and look at how much they echo, again, a sort of a mustachioed gentleman, art professional, failed art professional of the past and the things that he did, the parallels are paralleling, And the thing that gets me is that in the 53 days that it took for that gentleman to absolutely just demolish the democracy of his former constitutional republic. Does that sound familiar? Um, that would he did everything constitutionally. He did everything sort of within the rules, And so we're looking at the same sort of situation where executive orders aren't illegal. Pardoning people isn't illegal or unconstitutional. So some of the things that he does in the way of, attacking birthright citizenship or, the law is still in place to allow people and judges and attorneys and AGs the prerogative to counter sue for those things or file lawsuits for those things. So even the things that are unconstitutional or outside of the law or just skirting the edge of things, they're still being remedied or handled or rebutted using our current legal system. So ultimately, we can't really say that Donald Trump has or is doing anything that we haven't given him the power to do. And we even have to blame all the previous presidents who did all they could to really try to push the boundaries of presidential power. And then we hand that fireball, Kamehameha Hadouken, to Donald Trump. It's kind of like, what do you expect? Like, what do you expect? So, ultimately, I'm just here to, again, let you know that this is a safe space to chat in order to not debate, but just find some common ground and bridges between us, because we're in this together. Because if we don't come up with some solutions, do what we can do to counteract the path that we're going down because of the powers that we have granted this man. Um, I didn't vote for him, but it doesn't change the fact that, I still live under the rules of the Constitution. And those are the rules that are allowing him to get away with some of this stuff. Um, we still have a responsibility and an obligation to do what we can to fight it. And so that's why I'm here for us to again get past all this bullshit, these weapons of mass distraction, as Midas Touch would say, of DEI, of fucking trans, and like we're up here talking about 1% of the population, 13% of the population, and how we're gonna shit on them. Immigrants who are what 15% of the population. Like we're talking about things that don't even affect most people, just so we can avert our eyes and gaze from the absolutely like apocalyptic actions that this man is doing. So yeah, feel free to the person who called, thank you so much for that. I'm glad you were able to get through. If anybody else wants to chit chat and just share what's on your mind, if you want to try to unpack why some of these, again, distractions are catching your attention so hard. Like if you're so anti DEI and it's got you all riled up and you're like, yeah, Trump, why? Like we gotta get past that, because if you're so pleased with this man stomping other people down into the ground so hard that you can't see that you're the next one who's going to be under his boot, that's a problem. We got to focus our attention on the shit that actually matters. So again, I'm here to happily unpack and talk through some of this minutia of abortion and trans rights and all this stuff, because while those are absolutely important and hard-hitting topics, like it's all just being thrown out there so that we have to continue to jump over hurdles to get to the real nitty-gritty of what's really happening in this country. I'm saying this country, but again, I thank goodness do not live in America at present. But I'm still an American. I'm born and raised in North Carolina, and so like I absolutely have family there. It's still a place that I love and wish would be better. I wish it would be best. But yeah, let me catch up with some comments. I see I've missed a few. Sorry about that. And I am streaming to some other places as well. So thank you to everybody who's kind of pouring in from YouTube. Thank you. And Kick. And I'm even streaming to Rumble and Locals, because again, those are like more right-wing platforms. But, again, we're not adversaries. We're not enemies. I absolutely want to engage the right and engage Trump voters, who I see one here. Thank you. He says, I don't hate you. I voted for Trump. I hate our failing economy, and I voted for economic reasons. Else should be off the platforms. Street Fighter reference. I have a question. Ron, what's your question? Oh, but I missed you just blabbing over here. But yeah, you're free to call in. If you want to text that number, you're welcome to. If you would prefer to chat in a different way, like Discord or something, I can send a link. Whatever's easiest for you. Somebody said maybe this lady should go live in a different country where there is actually not freedom. Let me tell you, where I live now compared to America, it's amazing. I wish I had moved here sooner. I don't know if I could say it, because every time I say stuff, it gives me a thing. But I live in the UK. It's the best place in the world. As a Black woman, like, I come here and I can meet someone new, and I don't have to get over this hump of who they think I'm going to be. I don't have to explain myself. I don't have to wait for them to catch up to who I actually am. There's no microaggressions. They don't want to touch my hair. They don't feel like they're better than me. Like, it's wild. They're not surprised that I can speak articulately. like it's the most beautiful thing in the world to just meet somebody and they just, oh, who are you? They don't automatically think they know who I am. They're genuinely curious as to who I am. The only thing that's so cute is when you start talking and they hear your American accent, oh, you're American, you're from America. And sometimes you'll actually hear people say, oh, you're from America. Oh, I love this Donald Trump guy, and da da da. And usually it's a old white boomer. And even in that case where I'm talking to somebody who's clearly a racist, because to like Trump, you're a racist. I'm sorry. That's what it is. Um, they still don't have that same presupposition with me. And typically, the racism that presents in England, anyway, it tends to be very anti immigrant, definitely more, I'd say, xenophobic than racist. So, but it's wild because I'm sure some of that anti immigrant uh, thinking tends to be toward people who look like me from Africa or from Somalia or from wherever. And I still don't get that initial feeling of being judged or being categorized or labeled from people seeing me, even before they know that I'm American. So yeah, I'm glad I left. America's a dumpster fire. So again, I love the people of America, but as a whole, the government, the systems, the things that are going on, the economy, like all the things that people could lift up. I do not understand how there's any sort of patriotism or nationalism in that country. Um, but again, I love the people there. I want the best for you. I want the best for everyone. Let's see. Do we celebrate the team that loses at the Super Bowl? So we do celebrate this month for. And it sounds like you're saying that because Black people have been the losers when it comes to, I guess, the race in this country, that we shouldn't celebrate Black people for Black History Month. I would love some clarification on that because you're kind of sounding like a bee with an itch. Happy October. If you're a girl, even if you're not, that's some fuck shit. Okay. But otherwise, if people have some common sense, like, oh, how am I being a victim? Let me know what I said that makes you feel like I've portrayed myself as being victimized. Is it just that I'm Black and that's what you're seeing, and you assume that I feel victimized? It's kind of weird, don't you think? Um, Again, yeah, let me know how you're coming to the conclusions that you're coming to. I am absolutely somebody who um, really does sort of take my own destiny into my own hands, but I still recognize that it's difficult to do that when you have so many things that are systemically and institutionally against you. Yeah, that's the name of the show, Call a Liberal. So, how does being a liberal and being a vocal liberal make me a victim? That's really interesting. USA, baby. Hell yeah. Where does your patriotism come from? What are the things that you're proud of that America has done, or that America has allowed you to do and be? Let's chat about it. I'm very curious about why people are still patriotic these days. I don't get it. Who are you guys pulling for the Super Bowl since October brought that up? And again, thank you for watching from Kick and from Rumble. Hi, guys, and YouTube, Instagram. It's really nice to see some viewers popping in. TikTok seems to take the brunt of it, so apologies if I've missed that. Oh, so yeah, on Kick, I'm sorry I missed you, Taylor. It says, how's your day going? Sounds interesting. You said you have something that could help me sell my products? Don't know what that is. If you want to see my work, so can I have your Discord? I think this is just some spam, but thanks for writing anyway, Taylor. Really appreciate you. Okay, so yeah, I'm trying to catch up on comments a little bit, but if you would like to call in, this is your time. This is your space to call someone who thinks a little differently from you, perhaps. or who maybe could answer a question that's just been burning in your heart about uh, how the other side thinks, whether that other side be an opposing race, gender, ethnicity from you. Um, yeah, it just depends on what you want to talk about. I do have a list of topics, of course, that we can gladly touch base about or talk about. But ultimately, this is your time. This is your space, and I'm here to chit chat about anything. Now, I'm a big. I'm big, but I'm a big fan of Destiny, of let's see, Luke Beasley, Dean Withers, all these folks out here who do these like debate shows. They're so amazing at it. Um, Javon Bradley, I think I said. I love them, but that's not me. I'm I'm not here to be confrontational. I'm not here to um, try and have some gotcha moment with you. I absolutely want to open this up for dialogue and discussion because again, I just don't think we have the differences that you might feel we do. User says, "I love this country. I love how I can pretty much do whatever I want and say whatever I want." Okay, beautiful. I'd love to know what that feels like. I feel that more in, I'd say, the UK than I've ever felt in America. To be honest, I don't think I would do this show if I still lived in America, especially given how much it seems like Trump is going after people, regardless of whether they're citizens or not, if they have any kind of disagreements with him. Also, I think what kind of spooked me a little bit is that I stream to and interact with and engage with alt right platforms and alt tech programs and whatnot. So I'm a member of or stream to like Gab and Locals, X, Kick, uh, Rumble. I was on True Social, but Donald Trump banned my ass, y'all. So that told me a lot. It told me a lot that if Donald Trump's going to ban people from True Social who don't fit into the way people talk in his echo chamber, that's a problem. That's problematic. So one of his first moves as president was, I don't know when he found time between signing all those EOs, but he banned me from True Social. And so I genuinely think it's because he either went through and had his team do some kind of look up liberals, look up leftists and kick them off kind of thing because I'm very obviously a vocal liberal. Um, you know, or it's just he saw that I'm out here again, not trying to debate, not trying to belittle anyone, but genuinely trying to find connection with people and see how we can start from a place that seems so different but find a bridge to one another. And I think he didn't like that. I think that's the scarier prospect for Donald Trump is that there's somebody out here who's saying, hey, we have so much more in common with each other than we could ever have with Donald Trump or than you could ever have with Elon Musk. So let's be friends. I can tell that we are going to be friends. So that's really what this show is all about. This is your time and your space to hopefully unpack some things with someone who thinks a little differently from you. Because again, I'm willing to bet I can show you that we don't have very far to go to build a bridge between each other in the way that we think. So we've been talking a lot about in the last few days about DEI. And at the core of DEI, what I hear when I hear people say, oh, I just don't want people to uh, be put into positions that they're not qualified for. Before I try to address the factual nature of that, oh, DEI and affirmative action aren't about lowering standards or they're not about giving anything to somebody who's not qualified for it. Before we try to go down that route, I'm looking at the fact that you're obviously a person who's genuinely concerned that people should get the things that they deserve. The people who work for something should get the things that they work for. It shouldn't be taken away from them. due to circumstances outside of their control. And so, if you look at it that way, how are we saying anything differently? Because that's what, as a person who is very pro DEI, that's what I think. I think it's very undeserving to, or it's difficult to accept that people can be passed over or looked over for things that they are deserving. It's difficult to watch people not have an opportunity when they've worked so hard for it. It's very difficult for people to get passed over by someone else just because of their skin color. So, because they don't have the same qualifications or same level of expertise or whatever the case is. So, again, even looking at something as contentious as that, we are saying the same things. We are on the same page. We all care when people are disenfranchised. We all care when people aren't recognized for getting the things that they've worked so hard for. So that's, again, something that we actually agree on, believe it or not. So I'm here to, again, offer this space as a way to find those bridges between each other. People who have concerns about abortion and stuff like that. It's kind of beautiful that they care so much about human life. So if we, again, unpack that a little bit and unpack the pro-life stance a little bit, that's where we get at the end of the day, is that we all care about human life. And so how can we then move forward together with that understanding? That's really what this is all about. So I'm going to play my little baddies thing one more time, just because I'm seeing we're getting some new people in. So this is kind of where I'm jokingly talking about today.
Have you noticed that our caps have actually got little pictures of skulls on them?
I don't.
Hans, are we the baddies?
So I just thought that was so funny because, we have to look at the fact that even if we didn't vote for Donald Trump, I didn't vote for Donald Trump. Never in my life would I, or did I, or could I, but we still, are Americans who are very adherent to the Constitution, the laws of the country. And so it's really difficult to say, okay, the onus is just on Republicans. It's just on the people who voted for this man. Because even though Donald Trump doesn't think this way, or the people who voted for Donald Trump doesn't think this way, no, it won't show your phone number. You can absolutely give me a call, and it'll be very anonymous, except for, of course, people will hear your voice. But yeah, we're still responsible, because as Americans, we believe in the Constitution. We want to uphold it. And, so we have to look at the parallels between what happens when, somebody starts to take advantage of the system that he's given. So Donald Trump is not necessarily doing he's doing a great job of pushing the limits of what presidents are allowed to, or legally, allowed to do. So I'll give you that, Will. What are some other things that you think Donald Trump is doing a great job about or at? Like, very curious to know what's making you the happiest in any of the situations that he's perpetuating lately. I am not a fan of the stuff that's happening. And it makes me really feel like, we're the baddies in this situation. We are the people of Germany, looking at what's happening in the course of just the short 53 days that happened to get people from being a constitutional republic in the 1930s to being full-blown, Nazis, if you will. Trump is the best president ever. He is doing exactly what I hired him to do. What is that exactly? Like, what's the thing that you're excited for him to do? Because I thought he was supposed to be lowering prices at the gas pump and lowering the price of eggs and keeping us all safe and being the father of IVF and all these things that I don't even see him touching right now. So, yeah, what is it that you're happy he's doing? um, it's been 2 weeks, sweetie. Yeah, and look at all the craziness and destruction that he's managed to do in just 2 weeks. And again, we're only 2 weeks into a presidency that is really mirroring a similar um I'm not going to say dictatorship or authoritarian regime or whatever, but it's really mirroring the same constitutional republic that Schmittler was handed. And it only took him 53 days to dismantle that democracy. So, yeah, we're 2 weeks into a 6 week period of what's possible. Who knows? I think that saying that you're going to raise the Gaza Strip, I think that sending about a dozen people to Gitmo who are citizens, I think that uh, making a deal with El Salvador to house and put in prison immigrants who could again be citizens are all things that are pretty fucking scary, my friend. So and again, I'm not sure what he's done in regards to border safety. Deportations are not border safety. What has he done to strengthen the border? Um, so tired of hearing about eggs. Biden FDA had over 100 million chickens killed to prevent bird flu. So you wanted bird flu? What? No, I don't care about prices. I have lots of money. He has exposed the left. Exposed what? It will take several years to regrow chicken flocks. Okay. So, okay, what about the price of everything else? Why do you think he blinked on these tariffs, man? Because he saw how that was going to just make the prices of everything even worse. It are just the threat of tariffs sunk the stock market, already made everything higher. Ever since he was inaugurated, ever since he won, fuck that. You hear about all these companies who are trying to basically prepare for tariffs. They're already trying to uh, take away people's bonuses because they have to put that money towards stocking up on imports that they need. So yeah, just even the threat of tariffs, let alone waiting another 30 days and potentially doing it, were really horrible. Let's see. Look at the border encounters. We are down like 90%. El Salvador will house bad criminals. They're not limiting anything to criminals. In fact, Colombia, when they finally accepted the people that Trump sent down, none of them were criminals. Why are they going into schools and churches and workplaces if these people are criminals? Why are they making stings at immigration offices if they're criminals? Hi, friend. I'm Sophie. What's your name?
Hey, I'm doing well. I'm afraid not to say my name on this, but
Oh, no worries. No
um,
worries.
yeah. Wait, yeah, Sammer. Um, um, I just wanted to come on here. I'm just like talking about immigration. I feel like, well, I come from my grandma immigrated from Japan, and what happened was she had to go through the whole process of immigration. She had to study and work her ass off, and I feel like it's unfair for my family that people are coming in this country illegally while she studied and worked her ass off for 10 years to get citizenship, and I just find that unfair that people are coming in illegally and getting um, put up in houses and given money and given food, and I just find that unfair.
Mm.
What do you think about that?
Well, I guess I'm not sure where you're getting your information on what's happening with immigration or like the process that people are faced with when they try to immigrate to this country. Um, because I've seen it from a lot
Well,
of
legally, I
different
mean.
lenses, Um, well, the real issue when it comes to immigration, just from what I've seen, and I'm no expert, but just from what I've seen, it seems to be that what happens is a lot of people will come across the border. They will basically be put into this funnel of government bureaucracy. So if they're coming for asylum or coming, even if they're crossing the border illegally, if they get caught, they are given a court date. If they're seeking asylum, they're put into that funnel, but which still involves receiving a court date. But they're let into the country. So technically, people who cross the border illegally, if you will, they're put
Hmm.
into a legal process. So it's still kind of
Well,
it's still
if
kind of a
they're
misnomer, I guess. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
well, like if think about it, if they're getting held up in this process,
Hmm.
that means they're housing them somewhere where they're using taxpayer money to to feed. I mean, they are obviously feeding them, right? They can't just like hold them
No,
without
that's
feeding them.
no, actually what's worse is when you are doing these mass deportations, they're not just sending people home on a plane the same day. So I know you're seeing they're building all these private prisons and they're building all these holding facilities and they're using the ones that they already have that were built under like Obama and stuff. And even like Gitmo now, they're using facilities and building facilities to house these people that they're mass deporting, and they're going to have to feed them. They're having to pay staff to monitor them. So there's more tax dollars being spent on this mass deportation thing. Whereas when people come in, again, for asylum or crossing the border, seeking a court date to see if they can stay here or not, um, then those people are left to their own devices. They typically have family here or they have other support networks here, nonprofits assist with that kind of thing. But there's no government money spent for people who come over this country. As a matter of fact, the people who come into this country, again, who get immigration worker and they meet with this person usually once a week or a couple times a month before they get their before they go to their court date. So they're in the system. They're in contact with someone. They're known individuals. Um,
Well,
and they
what about
yeah,
the ones that aren't documented
that's
and the ones that
such
are causing crimes?
again, that's such a tiny amount of folks. I do you want to look it up because I genuinely don't know what it is, but I know it. I feel like it's a small amount, but um,
How many
yeah, let's take a sec and Google it.
undocumented immigrants
How many people?
are there in U.S.? All right, let's see.
Where
As of 2022, there were about 11 million undocumented immigrants in the United States. This represents 3.3% of the country's population, according to AI Overview by Google.
Yeah,
Um, do you see the same thing?
yeah. I
Month
guess what I'm
by
wondering
Ham.
is the
I
people
mean,
who cross the border without having an encounter, because typically when you see that encounter, um,
well, they take
that's
boats and
that's
stuff too.
people.
Am I right?
Say that one more time.
Well, they're also like they're crossing the border and not getting caught, and then there's also like they're taking boats and stuff, and other ways of
Oh,
getting in.
like from Cuba and stuff.
There's,
That's yeah.
well, they like isn't there other ways of like? I mean, I'm assuming they're not just all crossing that boat like the boat. I mean, there's other ways. They're probably getting I don't know, and they're getting smuggled in, and they probably don't get caught most of the time.
Well, sure, but the thing about those people then is they're definitely not taking up any resources because you don't have like an immigration officer that they're talking to that we're paying. You don't have the judicial system talking to them that we're paying. So, you know, those people who have encounters where they're again given a court date, and if their case goes through and they're not supposed to be here, they are then deported. All that costs money, but it's not anybody housing them. It's not anybody feeding them. Those people are left to their own devices in America until they, again, have whatever decision is going to be made for them about them. Um, so,
So
so
do you
yeah, sorry, go ahead.
So I feel like if you're saying like these people like, are you saying they should be allowed to come over? Like
Yeah, because
you think
it's
it's like,
there's not
so
only
that means
because
you're basically saying that anybody in the whole world could come. That means you could say people like, what if a say we have like someone who wanted to immigrate from Russia,
okay.
and what if they were like a spy or something and we just let them in?
Well, that's the thing is like no, like if they were to again have an encounter with a border agent at the airport or whatever, they're given a court date. They are processed. They are put into the system. We know who they are. We can research where they came from. We can research their history. If they have a criminal past, like we can,
But it's
do all
Russia.
of that.
They probably don't have anything. They probably hid it somewhere. I mean,
Well,
I
can you
I
honestly say
think,
that people who are concerned with immigration are concerned with Russians? I don't think that's the biggest.
yeah, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Well, if you then what's the limit?
Well,
What's
here's
the
the
limit
thing.
of how many people are going?
I I feel like if this is such a huge concern for people, then like I'm going to guess that you voted for Donald Trump.
I did not vote.
But you supported Donald Trump, or you're happy to see he's in office, considering that immigration is important to you. It sounds like.
Well, because I'm a Catholic and I don't believe in abortions. That's why.
No, no, immigration. I'm sorry,
Well, I'm
but
sorry. I
that's
mean,
why
that's
you.
like another topic.
I'm sorry.
That's why I support Trump.
Okay. Well, then, if you look at the fact that, again, there was a bipartisan bill in place that was intended to address a lot of these issues, including the asylum process and trying to get more judges to take these court cases and make them happen quicker, so people aren't coming into the country for long periods of time before they get their court case. So there was a lot. Oh, she's not sleeping. Okay, sorry. Um, Hi, sorry. Got handed my baby. But yeah, so if there were solutions that were agreed upon by Republicans and Democrats, and Donald Trump basically called the Republicans and said, "No, we need to kill this bill because it's going to hurt me politically if it goes through," and they killed it. But even though they killed it, Kamala Harris was still absolutely going to reenact it if she got into office. So it's kind of one of those things where, like, okay, if you're so concerned, then why not support, if even if not vote, why not support the person who actually had solutions in place that were not going to cost us more money and were going to address the ease in which people can come into this country?
I get your point. Oh, yeah. Also, I get your point. I would also like to talk about the other things you have on your thing about abortion is awesome and how the
Yes.
and also about DEI. With abortions, as a Christian, I'm a Catholic. I believe it's murder, and no matter what stage, it's still a baby. When you have sex, you're taking that leap of faith, and like that faith, and you gotta protect yourself. And I mean, I just feel like there's so much preventative measures, like like condoms, like there's like the internal condoms and like the exterior condoms. There's birth control. There's all these like things that like can like the interception, or those things called like the tools that like they're in a woman's
I like IUDs and things like that.
genitals. Yes, like things like that. And I feel like there's so much like safe things. I mean, you can just it's about being safe. I mean, I feel like I think abortion's like a it should be avoided at all costs. And I think like I don't know. I mean, I guess in terms of I don't know what my stance is on in terms of like like people who are like raped and sexual assaulted um I don't know like I don't know my opinion on that yet, but I just don't believe like abortion should be like an option.
Um, no, I hear you. I hear you loud and clear. And honestly, to me, when I hear you say that, um, what I hear is a young man who genuinely is concerned for human life, and you seem to care about little babies. Like I can't fault
Also, your
you.
baby is very beautiful.
Ah, thank you. I'm trying to keep her out of the thing. I don't think TikTok likes little kids, but thank you. That's really sweet. So yeah, clearly you and I both care about babies. And so that,
Yes, ma'am.
hi, I'm sorry, honey. What's up? And my other baby is why are you not in the bed, honey? It's almost midnight. Go to sleep.
I can't go in there.
I'm talking to my friend. You have to go. No, go upstairs. Well, I just wanted to say that I love that you have such a kind heart. My hope is that no, Cloud, go upstairs, baby. Go upstairs. Go to bed. It's almost midnight. If this isn't good birth control, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. What are you gonna ask me? Yeah, go get a snack and then go to bed. Okay. I love you. Okay. So, but speaking of birth control, did you know that like somewhere in between 35 and 50% of abortions are needed because of failed contraception? You know, so it's not that there's all these women out here who yeah, who are, you know, not trying to be safe or not trying to use protection. It's just that they're not perfect and sometimes they fail. So I mean, does that,
Well,
knowing
you know
that,
what's
does
not like.
that make you feel any better about things? Like,
Well, I still don't think it's right. I mean, it's still like murder, but
oh, and
also
can you hear
like
me? I'm sorry.
like, yeah, I can still hear. I mean,
I think you're
you saw
speaking and
one
I
comment
don't
saying,
know what they did because I can't hear you anymore.
hello, hello.
I know. I think he probably messed my cord up. Sorry.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, baby. Okay, can you say what you said
Hello.
again? Yeah, okay, I can hear you now. I'm sorry. She pulled my wire.
Um, yeah, you're good. Well, I also noticed that comment and stuff. I didn't even think about it. So the vasectomies, like, the vasectomies are also like you can get one and then you could also get it reversed and you can still have kids.
Absolutely. So the question is then why do people go after women so hard when it's if why don't they force all men once you hit puberty to like freeze your sperm and then you have to get a vasectomy? Like, wouldn't that prevent all abortions? Like, you'd only have wanted children. You'd only,
I mean, that's just a very extreme.
isn't it though? But you know, so if we have a solution
That is
that is,
extreme.
it is extreme. I agree. So
That's
instead,
like
why not?
that's like mandating. That's extreme. You can't. That's not a very good. Like, I feel like I mean, that's like
Agreed.
saying every single. I don't. Yeah, I guess.
But it would solve the problem, would it not?
Yeah, but that's not gonna happen ever.
So then why don't we be more accepting of a solution that is safe, that is the easiest thing that women can do, because men would not ever live in a world where they could be the one who's 100% responsible for them getting pregnant.
Can you say that one more time? I didn't really get hear it.
I'm just saying, like since that's such an extreme solution, why are we not more pleased with our existing solution that is very safe? That's something that women can do because we know that, if we put the
It's just not
responsibility
morally
on men,
correct.
it wouldn't happen. Well, let me ask you this. You said
I just don't
you're
think.
Catholic.
Yeah.
Did you know like that abortions weren't even really like denounced, I suppose, by like the Catholic Church until like
It
the
is.
late
It
19
is.
they weren't until the late 1970s.
Okay, that doesn't mean anything that I believe that what the church says I believe in. That doesn't. I feel like it
Go to
doesn't
bed.
matter
Go to bed.
when it says it. If they said it now, I would still believe it.
I'm just saying though that you're I know she loves you. I love you too.
Well,
But you got to go to
wait,
bed.
when were abortions? When
Go to bed.
first started happening?
Oh, they've always happened, but they were Roe versus Wade was in 1973, I believe, and 1973 or 1976. When was Roe versus
It was
Wade?
made legal in 1973, January
1973.
22nd.
But the thing is, before
So
that,
two.
there were still abortions happening. They just weren't necessarily
Okay, but the church
safe.
didn't make a stand on it until whatever you said, 1970s. The
That's not
church,
true.
I still believe.
They made a
Well, you
stand
said
on it.
1970s.
Yeah, but it wasn't until 1978, I want to say, that they actually got super like vocal about being anti-abortion. And the reason that that happened is because they got really upset that their schools and churches were being forced to integrate. And so they tried to say that forcing churches and schools to integrate was violating their religious autonomy. And so the U.S. government said,
Sorry, I'm confused.
mhm.
I'm confused. How does this happen? Wait, what do you mean integrating schools and churches? I don't understand what you mean.
Yeah, and the Civil Rights Act passed, and uh, religious churches and religious schools were being told that
Yeah.
they had to integrate, or they would lose their tax exempt statuses. And so that made the churches really mad, and so they tried to basically say, okay, listen, people who support us, you know, we're going to stay segregated because they're trying to violate our religious freedoms to stay segregated. You've got to go to bed. What do you want to tell me?
Wait, I'm kind of confused.
Sorry.
How does that relate to abortion?
So basically, the only reason that abortion even became something that the churches got vocal on, you have to wait. You have to wait. The only reason that they became vocal about abortion was because they tried to use the civil rights and their loss of religious freedoms as like a call to action, or like a dog whistle for their parishioners and for their community, to allow them to basically continue to be racist without losing any benefits from it. So in 1976, I think it is, there was a court case against a religious school. Oh, and it was a Mormon school, I think, and I can't think of the name of it. BYU, Brigham
But
Young.
we're not related to the Mormon Church. The
I'm
Mormon
just
Church
saying,
is
but
heritage.
Catholics are Christians, right?
We're not Christians. We're Catholics. We don't.
Well,
We're not
Catholics
Christians.
are,
We're,
but still, like,
we're Christians are anything other than Catholics.
okay, but still, like,
We don't.
the Catholic Church didn't have this stance until after the Christian Church had this stance. And the only reason the Christian Church took this stance is because they needed something to basically campaign on, or have a foothold in with like the religious right and the Republican Party on, in order to maintain like some semblance of control. And so if you look at like Paul Wayrish, this is all stuff like I researched kind of recently.
Sorry, you're cut
um
now.
I'm just saying, if you look up a gentleman named, can you hear me now?
Yeah, sorry, you cut out for like 1 second.
I'm sorry, it's a lot happening on my side. But if you look up a gentleman named Paul Wayrish, he spearheaded this whole stop. He's who spearheaded this whole drive to again make abortion an issue. So I'm just saying, like it what, because
Mormon churches.
no, just Christianity in general didn't take on abortion as being this huge moral issue. In fact, the term moral majority didn't even come up until they decided to use abortion as, again, like a direct conduit into controlling the religious right. And so all I'm saying is that Catholics, they got abortions as part of their health care with no problem before before the again like 1967, I'm sorry, 1976, 1978, when the Heritage Foundation and Paul Rayridge decided to put their focus on abortion as the thing that they were going to use to again dog whistle their congregation.
Well, they didn't probably think it was wrong. They probably just didn't think it was wrong at the time.
You'd think
They,
they didn't think
right?
it was wrong
Well,
until they were
you're
told
saying
that.
is the Catholic Church has authority. The Catholic Church is the Pope has authority.
Go to bed.
That's how the Catholic Church works. And when that's like, and if he said abortions were right, or like, and he explains it, I would follow that.
So yeah, all I'm saying is that it wasn't even an issue. Abortions weren't even a concern for the church until after they decided to use it as a way to again keep their parishioners or whoever angry and keep them basically on a short leash so that they can control who they voted for by way of this issue. So it's just like you literally just said that you felt the way that you did because of the abortion issue. So clearly it worked, and it has been working for what 50 years, 50 something years. So it's just a I am so sorry. It's just a way to all I'm really just trying to say is that like this is not something that's in the Bible. It's literally just used as a way to control who you vote for and what kind of things you try to feel are important or aren't important. Go to bed. Go to bed. It's almost midnight, Cloud. Good night. Go to bed. I am so sorry. She's being willful and precocious. Go to bed. No, go to bed. Go tell Daddy. Go to bed.
And also,
Yeah. Sorry. So sorry.
I feel like not even just Christians. I know a lot of people that are not even just Christians think it's morally wrong.
No, that's actually not true. If you look at Muslims and Judaism, there's nothing
No,
that.
I'm saying like people I know, like yes, I guess that, but I mean,
Go to bed.
I don't know.
Well, and as a Catholic, then, you follow the Bible, though, yes?
I try to do the full extent.
Well, there's literally nothing in the Bible about or against abortion. In fact, the literal only thing in the Bible that even mentions abortion is a how-to guide on how to do it if you suspect your wife is cheating on you. So there's nothing in the Bible about it. In fact, God literally kills kids, unborn moms all the time. Like it's just not a thing to him to be concerned about unborn babies. So the only prescription.
You shouldn't say that just because bad things happen that more bad things should happen.
No, I'm not. I'm saying that God deliberately kills unborn children. So in fact, I can find the.
Wait, I have a question. Are you an atheist?
I am, but I'm atheist because I read and know the Bible. So I definitely, you can't say that it's due to a lack of understanding.
No, I mean, you know your stuff, obviously. I get it. We both understand our points on that. Like our own like opinion. I just want to hear about your opinion about the DEI thing. I just want to understand that. What's your stance on that?
Well, what do you think DEI is? Well, before we move to that, I just want to, again, I appreciate that you have so much concern for little babies, for human life. I'm not trying to beat you over the head about that or anything. I just wanted to kind of share that, again, the reason you feel so strongly that women should be punished or that women have to be responsible or they should just close their legs or whatever. that's when it takes it to a level of misogyny
Well,
that I
I
really
think
wish.
men should be responsible too. It's
Sure,
men too.
sure, you don't see people following men into the abortion clinic and yelling at them or telling them to close their legs. You don't see men being told to go get a vasectomy. You see the girls being the ones who are ostracized and screamed at and arrested and murdered and killed. You see that more than you see anything as far as the same level of scrutiny or consequence that's given to men. So again, all I'm saying is like that that's coming from a place of misogyny that you might not be comfortable accepting in yourself, but I hope you'll look inward and try to recognize that. Um, so but I do appreciate that you're giving men that same eye. Um,
Mhm.
so again, I just trying to find a common space here. But I'm happy to move on to the DEI topic if you like. Or
Wait, I was just thinking. Um, well, I heard on the radio they were talking about. Wait, what was I thinking? Oh, I just lost my train of thought. But
uh
oh, I saw on the news. Did you hear about how the government was paying what's it called, that news channel? They were funding millions of dollars to New York Times.
like for what?
They were they were they were paying the New York Times money, and they were funding it. The Biden administration
Who owns the New York Times? Isn't it like Rupert Murdoch or something?
was the. But I'm gonna look it up right now. This is what I just heard. This is what administration funding the New York Times. It came out, yeah. Wait.
Ah, sorry.
Wait. Maybe I'm just tripping. I don't know. I thought I saw some.
Who owns?
External funding freeze. No, wait. So what the? Also, what do you think about Trump banning transgenders from compete or transgender or men who transition to women competing in women's sports?
Again, I think it's just another dog whistle. I think it's something that he's using to um, draw our attention away from the atrocities he's committing. I
Like what?
absolutely.
Like what?
Did you not hear?
Like I'm
Like,
just interested.
I'm sorry, what?
Like what? What is he doing?
Like
Like what?
just
I'm just curious.
all
I don't know.
all of the things that he's trying to do with like the federal workers and how he's got Elon Musk in our treasury. I still haven't gotten my
Well,
2023
well,
tax
I think what
refunds.
he did with the Department of Education was great. The
what did
Department of
he what
Education
did
has
he do
failed.
with the Department of Education?
He got rid of it, right? Right? He's trying to get rid of it.
I don't
He's
know.
trying to get
Last
rid of the Department of Education
I don't
because
know.
the state of the country educational is terrible. The public schools are doing terrible. Like they talked about in the press conference. The new what's it called? Like the person who like talks to the press. I forget.
The the I know you're talking about that girl KKK Kristen or whatever.
Yeah, I think that's in it. She was talking about how terrible kids were doing in testing in elementary schools and middle school, and how they weren't meeting standards at all, and how how the education was fail our Department of Education is failing this country. And I mean, if kids are not meeting standards, then there's clearly something wrong. I mean,
Well, here's the thing. When you were talking about uh the New York Times thing, I feel like we're kind of
I
flitting
heard it
around a little
wrong.
bit. I want to just have you wrap up your thought on that. Like, what? It doesn't look like that's happening or happened that the Biden administration was funding the New York Times,
Okay,
but
maybe that was some.
but
Maybe I was wrong, but
if they
I thought
if
I
they
heard it in the
were
radio this morning.
if they were, what would be your gripe with that?
Uh, that's just terrible. I mean, it's just complete bias. I mean, everybody knows New York Times bias anyway to live. what's it called, liberals. I mean, it's definitely has a ton of bias. And everybody knows that. But I mean, that'd be absurd that of a government a government sees funding. I mean, it's technically legal. I mean, it's legal, but I think it's just
Mhm.
outright like stupid. Yeah, I think
So
it's crazy.
so you are in favor of um all the people that Trump has connections with and Elon Musk and even Trump himself getting rid of their ownership of Washington Post and um, Twitter and True Social, any kind of communications platform or media platform. You think people in power should not own those things then?
Well, we know that they own it, or we know that they own it, and how are we supposed to know that New York Times, or theoretically, if it was, how do we didn't know that the New York Times was being funded by what's it called, if it was being funded by the Democratic Party.
Well, I mean, if again, even if that was or were the case, do you what do you think that's actually changed or impacted? I mean, Donald Trump is in office. It's kind of like the whole thing with oh, if the Democrats had such a huge hand in the election being a fraud, how did they let Trump win
I
this
don't really
time? You
believe
know,
in that. I don't believe. I'm not that right. Like I'm not. I don't believe. Like I don't have a stance on being like what's it called, like rigged and stuff. I mean, I don't know. I can't make a stance on it. I don't know if it's actually rigged. I would have to see the numbers, but I can't like make a like stance on that.
but I mean, but
Like
you
I'm not
see
that
the parallel though, like it to say something is happening that's a bad thing in your opinion, but it doesn't actually achieve the outcome of making a difference with what people believe or how they vote, then then you just have to ask, is that really true? Like, are they really manipulating media if they didn't succeed? And honestly, if media manipulation is what got Trump in office, then is he manipulating the media by again owning communications platforms and being
what is
funded
he
by
on?
people who
I'm
own
just curious.
communications platforms? Sorry, what now?
I'm just curious. What is he on? I don't even know.
He owns True Social, but he's just been paid and he's clearly funded by Elon Musk, who owns X, by Jeff Bezos, who owns I think Washington Post, by
Why are all these? Why wait? I don't. What do you think? Why these billionaires are funding Trump?
why do you think they're funding
Like to
Trump?
help.
I mean, do you think it's not obvious?
Well, I asked you first.
So that
Well,
they
I
can
asked you
have
first then.
political influence and um, what do you call it, proximity to power and whatnot. So also Trump is stupid. Like literally anything you do for him, you become his best friend. You give him some money, you're nice to him, you speak
Trump,
kindly of him.
saying Trump is stupid is very. I don't. I think that's like very. I don't know. I
Okay,
just
well
don't
he's not
think Trump's stupid.
he's malleable, he's manipulatable, he's gullible. Are those better
He's
terms
gullible.
to
Okay.
use? I don't know. Um
He's gullible. Okay.
yeah. I mean that's just my thought cuz again, you've got JD Vance who literally called him Hitler. He called him Hitler. And
So
suddenly
why is JD Vance supporting Trump now?
because Elon Musk and Peter Thiel told him to. So that's the only reason that he was chosen as vice president. So again, you're nice to him or
He
you
was the
have
only
people
reason.
with.
I mean, it's Trump's choice, to be honest. It's Trump's choice, right? Am I right? Or is it the Republican Party's choice?
But then that's the question. Like if you have Elon Musk, who is the richest man in the world, who's clearly putting all this money into his campaign and into him, and now look at what that's gotten him, So were we wrong when he was funding him during the election? Were we wrong in saying that he's only doing it to get political power, that he's only doing it to get access, that he's only doing it to be able to cover his own ass, given the different fines and contracts he has with the government? All that's being played out right now. Like, is he not in the Treasury Department's systems? Is he not locking people out of their own workplaces? Is he not dismantling the USAID? Like, is he not doing these things that we
What's the
said he was going to
USAID?
do?
What's the USAID stand for?
That's the United States something something something. Let me find it. It's like the foreign aid, but I don't know the exact acronym. What does USAID stand for? U.S. Agency for International Development. I know it pays for food and medicine and disaster relief for other countries who need our help, and who we've told we're going to help, that we're leaving hanging because of this man. So I mean, again, like, so it's kind of the same thing with the whole DEI thing. Like, what is your gripe with DEI, or why are you happy to see it go?
Well, I mean, like, I feel like, why can't people just be like, say your interview,
Mm-hmm.
and like they I just feel like, and say you're like a white man and an African man is interviewing, you should be judged on who's the better candidate. I mean, isn't that just straightforward? Like, who's the better candidate? Who has more experience? Who who like got like maybe better degree? Who had better grades? I mean, that's fair. I feel like that's fair.
So your
Like,
assumption
who
is
worked
that
the
the black person doesn't have the grades, doesn't have the education, doesn't have the
No,
experience.
I mean, I didn't say that. I just said whoever has the better college degree, whatever, if they had a college degree or not, depending on the job, college degree, better grades. Either one of them could be a better candidate. It should be either which one is the best candidate should get the job. Is that like,
Yeah,
is that wrong?
I agree. No, I agree with you. And I think I think you're specifically thinking of like affirmative action. That's the program that basically said that if you have two equally qualified people, that you should put the weight on the minority or the woman or the LGBTQ person or the handicapped person. That is what affirmative action did. DEI programs are a little different, but if you still look at it in that vein, it's not about lowering standards or finding someone who is not as qualified and giving them a leg up over someone who is more qualified. It's about being able to have that person even in the room, or have that person even at that interview. Whereas, again, practices that have happened in the past, Jim Crow laws, all kind of things that have historically disenfranchised marginalized groups, they wouldn't even be in that interview without DEI. But once they can get their foot in the door, which is what DEI affords them, then they can shine. They can have the better resume. It tends to be that the the goal is that you have people who are equally qualified, but the DEI hire tends to usually be the one that's most or more or overqualified. So again, it's not about giving somebody something they don't deserve. It's about making it equitable so that the people who are qualified can actually have that shot or have that chance. So it's just not a zero sum game. Like, it sounds to me
So
like you feel like,
you're saying you want, like, give the people who don't have the chance a better chance
yeah, that's it.
at getting like more better education
I wouldn't even
or
say that,
whatever.
because for instance, like, black women are the most educated demographic in America. So even about the education. It's about, again, even being able to get in the room. So DEI impacts things more so along the lines of addressing like implicit bias in hiring, or making sure that like your job description isn't ableist. So it's not all about just black people, and it's not all about getting down to this interview or this application where you're comparing a white person with somebody else. It's all the stuff that kind of happens beforehand, if that makes sense. So it just sounds like your impression of DEI is that you're taking away an opportunity from someone who might be deserving because of the color of their skin. And I'm saying
Well, I
that
feel like
DEI
I'm
is,
all
yeah, sorry, go ahead.
the Asian population got hit hard with DEI because they weren't getting into colleges when they deserved it a lot. When my brother was applying to college, he had to figure he had to decide if he wanted to put that he was Asian on his application, and that's just completely wrong. Because the school wasn't. I mean, he couldn't even embrace his ethnicity. I mean, because we're mixed. He couldn't embrace it. He decided not to put it on because they were being racist towards Asian people.
Oh wow,
They weren't letting Asian people in.
that's true. And you know why? Like, this was recent.
What?
Was this recent that he was facing this?
This was 20 when he was applying in 2020, somewhere around there, after
2020?
COVID. Like every midst of COVID. His senior year, it was like that was COVID.
Well, what's
Like right
wild
as COVID hit.
is he probably should have put it, because we kind of have this litmus test with affirmative action being taken away. Um so affirmative action, again, that's the program that tries to give more weight to people in marginalized groups who, again, are equally or more qualified for a role or for a seat in a school. So like, honestly, like, since affirmative action was taken away, the groups that have been hit hardest are white women and Asians. There's even a group of I don't know if it's a couple of Asian families that got together, or if it's some kind of organization, but there are a group of Asian people who are suing over the fact that since affirmative action was taken away, the rate of acceptance into universities for Asian people has dropped like by something like 70%. Um,
Yeah. Yes.
so,
That's
so,
what. That's what. Like. That's why we didn't like. Yes. Yes. I know what you're talking about.
so,
I've
yeah.
actually heard that same story before.
Yeah, so it's one of those things where affirmative action, they're attacking that, they're attacking DEI because they think that, again, in their minds, that, oh, we're out here giving uh jobs and school opportunities to black people, when in reality it was, these programs were supporting so many other marginalized groups, including Asian people. So I think it's a
You just
bad
said
thing.
that. Well, you just said that the Asian people weren't Asian Americans weren't getting in.
Yeah,
So what? Well, I mean,
after they took away affirmative action. So affirmative action was helping
there was other.
Asian
They
people.
figured out they they were figuring out other ways to find out their ethnicity. I mean, it's still there's still an option to write your ethnicity down. They just can't like say that they let people in because of the race. I mean, there's still an option to write your race down.
Okay, but they still are
They don't.
now accepting less Asian people because there is no affirmative action to say that, hey, we should have our universities reflect, at least attempt to reflect the breakdown of the actual American population. So that's really all it was. Yeah, so if anything, it sounds like your brother was harmed by
Well,
the
yes, yeah.
removal of DEI programs.
Well, it was 2020, so there was
Yeah, there was
yeah,
still
definitely.
there was still affirmative action in 2020, and so he has suffered, or or he would have suffered without it. So he should have put that he was Asian, on or Japanese or whatever on his applications.
Did Ian get in more than before? At higher rates before. According to recent data, let's see this. According to recent data, after the end of affirmative action, some colleges like MIT saw a noticeable increase in percentage of Asian American students admitted, suggested that in certain cases, Asian students may be admitted at higher rates than before affirmative action was in place.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Let me see. I was hearing the
This is
opposite.
according to this is like the AI overview on Google Chrome, and it's like if you ever seen that on your phone before, I just looked it up. How about making it up?
No, I agree. I'm just trying to make sure I have
Let me
my
see the
facts
sources.
straight.
It's from. It told me the sources it pulled from. It pulled from NBC, Inside Higher Ed, the New York Times, Harvard Magazine, The Week, and the National Review. It's like an AI overview. Yeah.
So students for fair admissions versus Harvard. This was the Asian case of Supreme Court, which court held that race-based affirmative action programs and college admissions processes violate the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment with its companion case, blah, 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 which validated some affirmative action in college admissions, provided that race had a limited role in decisions. Filed a suit against. Oh, I think what it's saying is this is the case that got affirmative action removed. Oh, interesting. Oh, so this was the case that removed affirmative action. Girl. Acceptance post. Oh. Oh. I'm seeing it says mixed results, but there's an Asian penalty. So that's what your brother was talking about?
Yeah.
Asian
Yeah.
penalty in college admissions is still here even without affirmative action.
If you don't mind me asking, what source are you calling from?
This is Vox.
Cool.
You can see it. I should have it up on the screen.
Nah, I love you swiped out of TikTok by accident, and I don't feel like.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Ultimately, the report suggests the gap, this is based on 700,000 people, the gaps between white and Asian applicants will not change with the elimination of affirmative action. I'd like to see that study. I would love to do some more homework on this, but it sounds like it's not something that helped or hurt. So I don't know. That's a tough one. I think for me though, it's kind of sad that they felt that way, or that we were still in a situation where um however many years after they implemented affirmative action, that it wasn't achieving its goals. So, you know, I'm glad it was addressed, but I don't like that it was removed altogether. I think that's my issue with all of it, is that you can absolutely, fix things, tweak things, look at research and change things, but to just throw babies out with bathwater, um, that's something that I guess I hate to see. I actually used to work in DEI. And are you still there? I'm sorry. You got a little quiet.
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry.
No,
I
you're
was
good.
listening.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying I used to work in DEI, and that was my big gripe with DEI, was that um, what DEI translated to essentially was these training sessions and kumbaya sessions with um, corporate leaders and teachers and all these folks to say, oh, you have implicit bias and you should be better to your kids, and here's some strategies for that. But there was absolutely nothing actually researching, if that impacted test scores, or if it helped kids in any way, shape, or form. So it's just a bunch of kumbaya sessions, basically. So I've always had a gripe with DEI for that regard, that it just, there's no real evidence based DEI.
Yeah.
But again, I would have liked to have seen more funding towards research projects, more actual KPIs or measurements that we could take, like test scores, looking at uh, uh, rates of, what do you call it, like rates of suspensions and expulsions in schools, and seeing if those went down after people had training to understand their implicit bias. Our workplaces, uh, hiring people, and then how quick is the turnover for marginalized groups. Like, there's so many things that we could have researched or put money toward funding to actually see if these programs are working or having the impact that they want to see had.
Yeah.
um so again, just to see these things just get thrown out altogether is just kind of sad to me, because that, that nothing's perfect, and they certainly weren't perfect, but to just want to throw us back into Jim Crow era, it's a little disheartening. So
I mean, that's we're not that like
we're not. I swear it wouldn't surprise
Jim Crow
me.
laws.
Think about it. With the Jim Crow, it was, you had white bathrooms, black bathrooms, you know. I feel like that's the same.
Segregation.
Yeah, I feel like
What?
that's the same
That's
thing.
so. I don't agree with that. I
Well,
mean,
I feel like that's the
when
same thing happening with trans people. I think genuinely we are we're now just treating a different minority in the same ways that we treated like black people for so many years. And so, like, and again, it's all just a dog whistle. It's all a dog whistle. Bless you. I
you
feel
mean it's like a distraction?
absolutely it's a distraction, and it's also something that's intended to make us feel like we're
So
so
he's
different.
distracting us from what is it? What is his main plot? Like, are you saying like, I mean, if there's a distraction, what's his like, quote unquote plot?
I think all the stuff that he's
Like the
doing with the trans stuff, and with DEI, even, and even abortion and stuff, I think all of it's meant to keep our eyes trained away from the fact that he's got Elon Musk in our money, that he's um, doing all this stuff that's going to start wars with Iran and with um, uh, the people of Palestine. And it's just, it's horrible.
we're
Like,
gonna take over the Gaza Strip and take back the war. We're gonna figure it out. That's
but
what he
again,
said.
if we were
He,
already on
there
the
was
path to peace with a ceasefire, that, if he wants to claim that he did it, then why then is there a need to take over the situation if you already handled the situation? It just doesn't make sense. Also, that's
with the
1.3
ceasefire.
million people who are not American citizens that you're trying to impact, when you're not even doing anything here or doing anything in America to try to help your own people who voted for you, to bring down prices and to help fix the economy, which, none of
But
your actions are
you guys,
doing.
the Jewish people voted a ton of Jewish people voted more for Republicans this year because they thought or they believe that the Republicans would do something to help their family or if they have family or their Jewish brethren in Israel um to help end the war, and that's what they voted for, and that's what Trump's doing.
Well, I think a lot of Jewish people who voted for Trump, I'm going to assume they were Zionists, and that's really what that's about. You know, a lot of there's more Christian Zionists than Jewish Zionists. So I mean, so yeah, I think he definitely didn't want. I think they definitely wanted to support Trump because he doesn't give a shit about a two-state solution, and I think they know that. Um, so that's really what they're gonna get from all this, you know. But
There's
all
one
the
state.
yeah, that's what I think they would prefer. Um, I absolutely feel like the people who, especially in America, who were in support of the Palestinians who didn't vote for Trump, or I'm sorry, who didn't vote for Kamala Harris because they were so concerned that she wasn't doing enough to pull for a ceasefire or to stop the war over there. I just can't
She
imagine how
didn't.
sorely disappointed they are. But I think she and Biden did. I mean, clearly they did get the ceasefire before they left office. So the fact that they lost and
Well,
still made it
so
happen.
many. There's been so many ceasefires, but they never. There's been so many ceasefires. I mean, they've done nothing. What happens is they shoot and then it's back again. The ceasefires mean nothing. I literally studied the Israel-Palestine conflict in history the past 3 weeks,
Hmm.
and we've been talking we talked about how there's been ceasefires, and they don't mean anything. They just trying to go back to fighting either way.
Well, what's sad to me is that like the reason that they do is because they are so supported by America with money, with bombs, with just with America turning a blind eye to their war crimes and atrocities. It's horrible. It's horrifying. And then also, do you know why there are Christian Zionists in the first place? Do you know why Christians support?
Like Christians, yeah, Christians like want their own state.
No, do you? I mean, like honestly, like
That's what Zionism means. The
that
Christians
is
like
what Zion.
they're advocating for,
But do you know why Christians want Jewish people to have their
to
own
have
state?
so they don't have them around or something. I don't know.
No, it's because that foretells the apocalypse. That foretells the Jesus coming back,
Is that
and
in Revelations?
I think I don't know, but it's one of the it's in the Bible. But that's the only reason that Christians even give a shit is because they think that it's going to uh cause the what do you call it when they all get lifted
Second
up and
coming.
no, when they all get lifted up
Second
into
coming.
no, what when they all get lifted up into heaven or whatever. What's the word? I
Uh,
literally can't think of it. What's the word?
I've never heard of it before.
Um
That's like Jewish people. They believe their hair will they'll pull them up by their hair and bring them up into the sky and bring them to heaven.
what is it called? What is it called? It's not it. I can't think of the name, but no, but what triggers that event of them getting lifted up, the Christians, not the Jewish people, is the Jewish people settling into their own homeland. Um, bless you, good Lord.
Why
So
does do Christians support Christians
yeah, let's
support
pull that up.
Zionism? Oh, you're kind of right.
What are you saying?
You're right. Christians support Zionism because they believe it's a fulfillment of the biblical prophecy the precursor for the second coming of Jesus Christ. The belief is called Christian Zionism. Explanation: biblical prophecy. Christian Zionists believe that the establishment of Israel in 1948 was a fulfillment of the biblical prophecies. Jesus coming. Christian Zionists believe that the second coming of Jesus Christ will occur in Israel after the Jewish people have reestablished their sovereignty in the Holy Land. Christian Zionists believe that Jewish people are descendants of the biblical Israelites and their heirs to the covenant between God and Abraham. I mean, it's a good reason.
Well, but it's one that they're not very open about, I don't think. So it's kind of like, you know, I think that the Jewish people think, oh, you're here because you really believe in us having our own, homeland, and you really feel like this is a good thing. But no, Christians don't give
Well,
a shit about
they
them.
should be thankful. Well, they should
But
be
they're gonna
thankful
die. That if what happens
if it's true.
if what they want to happens, they're going to die. So it's
Well,
not.
they're Jewish, so they don't believe it. So they're like, oh, these idiots. They're giving support, and this is not gonna happen. This prophecy won't happen.
I don't know, but I just know that it's very disingenuous. The rapture, Jesus! I was trying to think of that one. Yeah, they're trying to trigger the rapture, and yeah. So all I'm saying is,
So if you're atheist, why do you care? Like, why do you care?
how
Because,
can I not care about people getting killed and people
but you said
starting this?
you think it's make believe.
No, but what's not
You
make
think
believe is the actual Palestinians being murdered and genocided over this. Like it's an apartheid, and it was going on well before October 7th. It was the Israelis have encroached, the reason Mike Huckabee says there are no settlements is because they're not. They literally build whole subdivisions and houses and malls on Palestinian land, So
yeah, I learned
it's
about that.
it's horrible what they're doing. And why? And being an
It's
atheist,
legal.
it's not legal. In fact, that's why
What they did
the
was they
Hague
what they
has.
did was they bought what they did was they bought land from. I literally learned this in history less than a
Mm-mm.
week, like literally less than a week ago. They bought land from Arabs that didn't live there, and they bought land and they expanded and they built stuff and they built towns and they built roads and they expanded there legally and they bought.
No,
That's
no,
how they
no.
built Israel.
No, what it is if you're, and this has so many echoes of Jim Crow, it's crazy. But they didn't buy the land. What it is the Palestinians cannot buy that land. It's just land. Like you said, it might have been Arab owned, but
Yeah, they
nobody's
owned it. The
buying
Arabs
that
owned
land.
it.
Yeah, but there are so many times where Palestinians try to buy the land and they're not allowed to. They can't get a loan for it, or if they come with cash, they're told, no, we're not
Because
going to
Jewish
sell this to
people, they
you.
stick together.
Sure, but
Because
to stick together and band together against a group that you feel is inferior to you is what is that called? What is that called? So
racism or whatever, but
it's called
they,
racism. That's called xenophobia. So it's definitely something where if let me play my little
well,
clip for
that's
you. I don't know if you can hear this or see this, but here, watch this.
I can't hear
Can
it.
you hear it? Well, it's basically this guy who's in a Nazi suit, um, asking his compatriot, "Hey, look at our uniforms. We have a skull on our uniform. Like, are we the baddies? like, are we the bad guys in this situation?" And honestly,
With
that's one of
the
the things.
Israelites,
That's what the Israelis might want to have a look at themselves to ask. Like, are you being the bad guys in this situation? And are you falling on the laurels of, oh, we were so oppressed, we had this horrible thing, which was horrible, happen to us, So now we're so entitled to whatever we want just because our religious doctrine says it. Like as an atheist, that's such a hard thing to watch happen. It would literally be like you coming to me and saying, "You know what? I like your house. I'm going to live in your house now. Get out of your house. It's my house now." And I'm like, "Why?"
So they
Oh,
just took over.
Because Santa Claus said that I was gifted this house for Christmas, and so it's now my house. Like it's literally that same thing to me. Israelis going into creating Israel in the first fucking place, but then also pushing out the people who actually live there. um, it's just it's kind
So
of
you
an
think it's
evil
morally
shit.
wrong?
I think that it is absolutely morally wrong. I do. I think it's morally
Interesting.
wrong. I do. So, I mean, how do you think it's morally a right thing to do?
Well, I don't know how, like, I don't know. I just feel like, I don't think either side's morally right. They've both done bad things. So, like,
Oh, no, no, no. What? Let's go back to what started what.
I'm saying I guess you could say, wait, I mean, I guess you could say, but they've both done bad things. Palestine did bombings. What they call it? They're what they call it? They're planned attacks. That's the definition of the word. But they're planned attacks on Israel, random people, civilians, and they bombed them. They killed them. There were suicide bombers.
Again, like, why do you think they did that? I don't agree with that. I don't think anybody should lose their life
Well,
for silliness, but like why do you think would you think that if Israel didn't
it's so they get like political attention.
No, it's because think about this again. Let's take that. I'm in my house, you come in and you take over my house because Santa Claus told you that was fine. I don't believe Santa Claus
They
is
didn't
real,
just
but
they
you
took it
do.
over legally. They bought the land.
That's like
They bought
saying
the
that the
land.
that Columbus legally came to America and
They
now
didn't, but they
how is this
purchased it
different?
for money. They purchased it for money.
From who?
Columbus didn't buy it. He stole the land. They bought
No,
it from.
no.
This literally came out of a textbook.
Columbus
This literally I
purchased
learned.
Columbus traded. He gave them beads, like he gave them blankets of smallpox. he it was a
He
fair
gave stuff.
exchange, but would you say it was more that was a moral thing to do? Just because it was legal, just because he provided legal tender? Like I don't. I absolutely don't. And I think that if you do something that harms me, I have a right to self-defense. I really do. I will always believe that. I'm a pro Second Amendment person. So yeah, I definitely think that you have to look at who started it, if you will. If we have to be that fucking infantile with it, look at who started it. And again, why they started it. They started it for, again, because I'm an atheist, I don't believe these things, for absolutely make believe reasons. It's terrible. And then again, being supported by America and the Christian right, Christian Zionists, for even more made up reasons. It's just crazy to me. It's crazy. Like real people's lives are caught in the balance of all this due to this land of make believe we live in. I swear it's just as difficult to digest. So I don't see any morality. I don't see any morality in anything that's happening over there, at all. And again, that's the stuff that's going on under our noses because we're too focused on what trans person's going into what bathroom. Who the fuck cares? Like, there's so much bigger shit happening, in the name of make believe, because we got our attention elsewhere. So that's all.
Hmm.
That's all I'm saying. But I feel like I have just talked your whole head off. I'm sorry. Are you feeling any better about anything after we've chatted. Like I hope you maybe feel a little bit more uh in line
Well, I
with
think
me. Like,
with
are we on the same page about
yeah, there's
anything today?
it. Well, it's hard to like some things like coming like from a Catholic like Christian standpoint, it's hard to like relate on some standpoints because you're atheist and like I some things are more like some things are like I don't know. And it's just hard to like. I mean, you definitely had some valid points, um, and I agree with today.
Oh, that's
And I
nice.
thank you for your time, and I definitely learned. But I'm not gonna lie, I have homework due tomorrow,
Oh
and I
gosh,
had
well,
a great time.
yeah, go, get your
Um,
work done. But
Thank you so much.
I hope you'll
Bye
follow
bye.
me and let's keep the conversation going. But thanks for your call, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Good night.
Good night. Oh, what a sweetheart. What a sweetheart. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry, when I'm on a chat or on a call, I really do try to focus on my guest. So it's funny to come back and kind of see some of the comments I missed. I'm so sorry. Um, Honestly, that's something I should be doing. Like, should I be engaging with the comments as well? Well, I'm gonna have to ignore you guys for just one more second. I'm sorry. I got another call. I'm coming. I'm coming. I'm coming. I'm coming. Hi, friend. This
Excuse me.
is hello.
One more thing. I just want to ask what your TikTok page was called. I lost it.
Oh, no wonder. It's Sex with Sophie. SX dot with dot
Wait,
Sophie.
sorry. Say it again.
It's Sex with Sophie. SX no E dot with dot Sophie. Sophie.
With so wait with WITH
Yeah. Dot
so dot SO or what is how you spell your last name?
Sophie. But if you want, you can go to just sexwithsophie.com/links, and it's got everything if you want to uh, follow me
Alright.
anywhere else too.
Thank you so much.
No, thank
Good
you
night.
again. Good night. What a sweetheart. Yeah, I'm definitely here to again chat, have discussions. So I really appreciate that conversation because as you can see, like I'm really not here to be like, oh, your logical fallacy is, your implicit bias. Like, no, that's what I really love. I really enjoyed that, just to be able to have a discussion and honestly to come away from it understanding that we have so much more in common than we have that separates us, as the great Kamala Harris would say. I love her. I'm sorry. Like, everybody's like pro Trump on my page here apparently, but I really wish we had gotten Kamala Harris in office. I feel like so many things would have been um handled. Handled. Let me try to catch up on some comments, although I might uh, take that call as my final one for the night because it is almost 1 o'clock in the morning my way, and little baby is done. But definitely follow. I'm here every night from about 5 p.m. Eastern to 7 8ish Eastern if I can swing it. Um, so let's see. I am missing a lot of comments. They Oh, Alex was wondering why I said 53 days. 53 days is how long it took for um I don't know what words are no words, but like Schmittler to destroy a constitutional republic and dismantle the democracy. It only took him 53 days. And so, us being 15 days into the Trump administration, part due, uh, yeah, we're starting to see some really strong parallels. Um, let's see, they're undocumented too. How are they supposed to know all of them that exist? And that's the thing. Like people who get caught at the border, people who, even if they're not seeking asylum, they get a court date to adjudicate whether or not that person can or cannot come into the country. If they cannot, they are sent home. If they can, then they're given that pathway to citizenship, especially if they're in a situation where they need asylum. So undocumented, it's kind of a bit of a misnomer because these people who are in this holding pattern have an immigration person like assigned to them. In fact, that's how Trump so insidiously caught a bunch of undocumented people recently, is because he had like an ICE sting at the immigration office. So these are people who are not criminals. These are people who are attending their regular immigration meetings with their immigration specialist, or I don't know if it's a social worker or an attorney, but they have somebody who is in the government who knows who they are, who they're checking in with on a regular basis until they have their court date. And they had stings at these offices where they were, again, scooping up people who are in the system, who we know are not criminals, who are trying to come into this country legally and use the means that we've provided them to do so. So that's pretty fucked up. Let's see. They changed that Title 8 encounters means during Biden's presidency. They're taking housing away from, again, they're people who come across the border illegally, but get their court date set and everything. They have to fend for themselves. They're let into the country, but they're not provided with housing or food or anything like that. And if anything, again, these people tend to still find work and they tend to, in fact, I think they contribute something along like something in the way of billions of dollars to our economy by way of sales tax and paying their taxes and income tax and things like that. So it's crazy that they can live here, still have to pay taxes, but don't get any of the benefits and are part of our shitty immigration system that is very, very difficult to navigate. My husband is a white British man, and the process for him, an English speaking white British man, the process for him to get his green card was years long. It cost thousands of dollars. It was one of the most challenging bureaucratic red tape bullshit that we had to do probably in our whole lives. And we've adopted our daughter. We know red tape, and that was so difficult. So I cannot imagine what it's like for people who speak Spanish or from the Middle East or from Africa, or an Asian country, non-English speaking, non-white people. I do not know how they do it because it is hard. It's hard. They don't make it easy to come to America or to stay in America. Let's see, it's not only about resources. They're usually dicey people bringing drugs or committing crimes. Migrant crime is nothing, my friend. Like, the rates of migrant crime are like, it's something in the way of like 3% of all crime in America is migrant crime. So no, that's definitely not the issue. We need a secure border. They could be criminals. Again, we know who these people are. For the most part, it's very rare that you have people come across the border sneaking in, who we don't know. A lot of times people are actually caught at the border and they're still given the chance to have due process. Let's see. And yeah, they could be criminals. They could be criminals, but that's that's all discovered. That's the point of giving them a court date, to understand who they are, what their situation is, why they're coming over here. Um, Chris Riggs says there are also vasectomies. Do that. It's reversible. Yeah, do that. Stop putting all the blame on women when men are equally responsible. I think he's referring to, like how I was saying, like all guys, once they hit the age of puberty, should, or why don't they just make them freeze their sperm and then give every single person with a penis a vasectomy? So that way, when they're ready to have kids, they can tap into that bank, and then there will be no need for abortion ever again, because you're only going to have kids when you're absolutely ready for it. um, but of course, that's a very extreme thing. That's a very unrealistic thing, isn't it? So it just seems like it's easier than to say, okay, um, perhaps I can just allow women to make a decision about their bodies in a safe and quick and effective way that preserves their fertility. Whereas when they have to make decisions on their own, or try to self abort, which is what happened before Roe v. Wade was a thing. Um, yeah, women died. Women um, were infertile after that because they maimed themselves. It's horrible. It's a horrible thing. So the thing is, like with abortion bans and stuff, abortion bans don't stop abortion. They just stop safe abortions. So if you're really wanting to help women and help human beings and life, abortion is one of the most amazing things out there. I love abortion. We can have a party every weekend. Girl, let's go get an abortion. Yeah, girl. I genuinely think that's what people feel women are doing, which is ridiculous. Like, come on. Let's see. If the man refuses to be responsible, you're seeing the wrong men. So it's the woman's fault for being tricked by the man? How does that make sense? How does that make any sense? Chris, as far as my hypothetical is concerned, with all men getting vasectomies, I'm glad you're down, bro. Like, I'm glad you're down. I'm still just throwing it out there as an extreme example of something that would solve the problem, but of course that is not really realistic. So, but I appreciate that you're like, let's make it work. Let's make it work. That's cool. Let's see. The church shouldn't be involved in politics. Oh, Chris, I like every Chris I've ever met. My husband's name is Chris. My brother's name is Chris. Every Chris I've ever met has been cool as hell. You're cool as hell, Chris. Um, so you want to stay segregated again? Where is this coming from? And then I think I caught up. MJH says, "Where is Dad?" The most racist shit I've seen, and I've been up here seeing some racist shit. Where is Dad? Where is Dad? Where is Dad? Maybe you're wondering where your dad is. I know he went out for milk and cigarettes all those years ago, but maybe he'll return to you someday. But I think I've caught up with comments, and I think I'm going to let that last call stand as my final one of the evening. I really, really appreciate you guys tuning in and for all of your time and love and engagement. Again, if you're commenting things that you feel are in opposition to what I say and believe, I don't think that we are. I'm absolutely hoping you'll still follow me, and let's keep the conversation going, because I'm willing to bet that as we just keep talking to each other, we can find some bridges between these ways of thinking, because again, we can't get caught up in the WMDs, as Midas Touch would say, the weapons of mass distraction. We are all brothers and sisters. We are all friends. We are all family. And I love you all so much. I love you from the bottom of my heart. I really do. And I hope that you will love one another, but with permission. All right, guys. You guys have a great night.